So my name is Tiffany Washington, and I have two little boys, one of which I had here at the birth center 2.5 years ago. And why I chose Central Texas Birth Center, I did a lot of research, and I only knew of one other birth center, and I researched and I went over there, and they were all really great. And but when I came here, it was like I felt like I was at home, and the midwives were so wonderful. I've met Sally for the Sally was the first one that I met, and she was just like my mom. Like I felt like she was like my mom, and just so loving and just very warm. And it was a different experience than when I went to the other birth center. I wanted to have a home birth, but my husband was like, this was our first, this was the first time that we were going to do it out of the hospital, and so he was like, let's look at the birth center situation. So he came with me for my first appointment, and he was blown away, which I knew if I got the okay from him that this was where we wanted to have our baby. So I just loved everything about it. I walked in and everybody was just super warm, and I just felt so at home. So I knew right away that this was where we were going to have our baby. Well, I didn't have a really bad birth the first time, but I knew that the first time that when I had my first child, I had been researching about natural birth, and I was just nervous the first time I did it, and I didn't feel like I had enough information to make a really good decision on whether it would be the best thing for me and my family. And but then when I got pregnant again, I knew that I wanted to do it natural, just because I felt like I would have more control over the decisions regarding my body and my baby. And I just remember feeling very helpless the first time with my first baby, feeling like it was just, I just kind of laid there and they told me what to do, and I would react, and I just never felt really in control. And I knew that this was a route that would be best suited for me, just because I wanted to be able to just call the shots and be able to decide what and where and how I wanted to have my baby. So I was definitely transitioning. We kind of swooped in like a storm. I literally, it was kind of like a whirlwind. My husband had to get Sally and out of the birth center to help me get out of the car, because I think I was about to just have him in the sidewalk. And Sally and Randy came and grabbed me, and I was just pushing. My body just started pushing, and it was a really great moment because everybody was involved. Sally was back, and I could feel her checking for Kai and making sure that he was, everything was going okay with him. I could hear his heartbeat. And then Randy was in front of me, and she was coaching me, and my husband was behind me. And it was just, and I remember feeling like I couldn't go on and I couldn't do it. And I told my husband, I just can't do this anymore. And I just remember him telling me, him and Randy both at the same time telling me that I could do this. And I was such a soldier throughout the whole pregnancy, and this is our moment. And so it was really encouraging. And at that moment, I felt like, okay, if they believe in me, and we're here, so what else are we going to do but have a baby? So it was just really, really a great moment. And they helped me get to the room, and I literally had him probably a couple of minutes later. But it was just, that was probably the most memorable moment, was just when I was at the moment where I didn't feel like I could physically go on, and both of them were there to just kind of coach me through it and bust out a baby. So I think if you're curious about it, then that's amazing. And I guess I would encourage anybody just to be informed, like if you feel like it's something that you're possibly interested in doing, then do your research and, go somewhere where you feel like you are comfortable. Birth is, it's private, and it's beautiful, and it's all of those wonderful things, and it's not like a medical procedure. So I encourage people to kind of look at it as a way of, you're just having a baby. You're doing what you're naturally supposed to do. Your body is naturally supposed to do. So, I guess for me, I would just say, just do a lot of research. Know what you're getting into. If you decide to go to the hospital or another route versus, natural, or vice versa, just make sure that you know what you're doing and make sure that you feel comfortable. Ultimately, I feel like birth is, for women, is kind of the most vulnerable times of your life. And if you don't feel comfortable, and if you don't feel like you're basically there with your mom and your grandma, then you probably shouldn't go there. So just do your research and make sure you feel comfortable with wherever you are. My major concern was that something would happen to the baby, and we weren't anywhere where there was anything medically we could do for him if something did happen, or we wouldn't be able to get there fast enough. So those were really our main concerns, and I know my husband's concern was that as well, and if anything were to happen to me, if we would be able to be close to anywhere medically that we could get some intervention. But I think for us, when we went through with the birth center, it was really about trusting our, Sally and Randy, and knowing that they knew exactly what to do if something, were to go awry, or something would kind of go the opposite direction as planned. So I just felt like during those consultations that we had every visit, that hour was just kind of about us trusting one another. And I trusted Sally and Randy. I mean, I trusted that if something happened, they would know what to do. And you have to kind of trust in that and know that like I said, your body will do what it's supposed to do. And so that's really what helped us, is just trusting our midwives. So I think when I first got here, like I said, I think anybody, I was a little nervous. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I really just fell in love. I don't know. It's like Sally has this way. I literally just fell in love with her. And I so looked forward to coming, and it was just like hanging out with her, and her getting to know me, and it was such a difference than the first time I went to my doctor's appointment. She would rush in and she'd check my vitals and ask me how I was feeling, and then that was kind of it. And then you leave, and then you'd go back again, and at your next appointment. But it was not like that with Sally. And Randy. I mean, I fell in love with Randy too, of course. And it was just fun. It was fun. It was relaxing. I got to learn about Sally, and she would always offer me suggestions about what to eat, and if I wasn't feeling well, what to take. And so I really fell in love with her throughout my whole 9 months. And I kind of got to where I was almost 41 and a half weeks, and I think I walked in the office at my very last visit, and I was like, this has got to be the end. I can't I can't have another baby. I have to have this baby right now. And sure enough, she said, you won't have another visit. He's gonna come. And sure enough, that Saturday I went into labor. She's like fairy godmother. It's amazing. So obviously I had Kai, and she was at his 1 year. Her and Randy came to his 1 year birthday. So it's not like even now that I've had him, I don't hear from them anymore, and we don't talk anymore. We still have a very great relationship. I absolutely adore her, and Randy and Heather, and everybody here is just absolutely amazing. And I'm really I feel like I'm a different person after having had my baby naturally. Just because I feel like birth is hard, and and to be able to do it and then walk away from it, like, be able to do it, is amazing. Be able to do it and the way that I feel like God intended me to, intended us to have our babies, to do something that so many people are like, I could never do that. Like, women who, I could never birth my baby that way. Like, you are, and I'm like, I think all women are that way. Like, I think we're all built to be amazing, but then to actually, like, really accomplish it, I feel like, I really feel like I can do anything. And that's not just some cliche. I've totally changed my life since I've had my son, and I really, really, really feel like it's to do with conquering something that so many people think that's just impossible, when it really turned out to be the most empowering and most amazing thing ever. And I owe a lot of that to these ladies here, who've showed me and shared with me different things, and obviously made me feel like I could do anything, and I did. So yeah.